Hey everybody, Stock Picks by Tim, coming back at you again, and I wanted to talk about Workhorse. I know I haven't talked about this one in a little while. I'm kind of letting it just cool off, letting the stock price kind of figure out what it's doing after the recall and the bad news and all that negative push, negative articles coming out, and just, it seems like the media is just out to get Workhorse. I'm going to actually look at their last current report as of September 22 that they just posted on their actual site. And I'm also going to bring you guys, bring to attention their earnings coming up. According to Earnings Whispers, their earnings is supposed to be on November 8th, so that's when they'll also be giving a conference call and kind of giving an update on what's going on with Workhorse. So keep that date on your radar, but let's get into this video. So here I am, and this is the article I'm going to be talking about real quick. I'll post a link, as always, down in the description. Workhorse suspends delivery and recalls dozens of its flagship electric vans. We have 41 vehicles here that were actually recalled, and Workhorse themselves told the customers and regulators that they needed additional testing and modifications to comply with the federal safety standards. And when you look at this article, of course they have to bring up the latest setback about they abandoned their effort to overturn the U.S. Postal Service's decision, where Oshkosh took that contract that Workhorse thought was rightfully theirs, and I kind of thought so too. But maybe at the time they didn't have the production, and in my opinion, that's probably what swayed them to choose Oshkosh, is that they didn't have the production in place yet, and the demand that the Postal Service would have. But we're going to continue in with this article here, and it says here the C1000 is meant to be their flagship vehicle with 1,000 cubic feet cargo space. The company said it was continuing to tinker with the design, even as it finally got the vehicle into production this last quarter following years of struggles. But apparently that wasn't enough to stave off a recall. In filing with the Securities and Exchange, the SEC, Workhorse said it identified a number of enhancements in the production process and design of the C1000 to address customer feedback, primarily related to vehicle dynamics and increase the vehicle's payload capacity. And here we have in the statement by Rick Dauch, which is the new CEO that we just got, which I got a lot more faith in this guy than the previous one, and it seems like he's being very transparent. He very quickly addressed this, which is a positive sign in my eyes. And it seems like they definitely want their product to be satisfactory. They don't want to push out crappy products. It seems like they want to make a strong brand, which to me is a good sign. Yes, this is a negative, but the way they addressed it and the way they I'll show you in a second the SEC filings and the actual physical update by Workhorse, not just a kind of slightly skewed article here, in my opinion. To go on with what the CEO said. Importantly, we remain on track to communicate our new long-term strategic roadmap to enhance our trucks and operational capacities on our third quarter earnings call. And going back into it here, if you look on Earnings Whisper, November 8th should be the earnings, but they did not receive any update in the last 30 days, I believe it said. They have not confirmed the release date with the company within the last 30 days, but most likely it's going to be around November the 8th. So definitely keep an eye out for this one, and they're expecting 1.7 million in revenue, and we'll see what ends up happening there. But keep that number in mind. When you actually go to their latest current report, September 22, they have an 8K that they put out. I'll look at the PDF, and I'll actually leave a link below to all this too, so you guys can look at it yourselves if you'd like. On September 21, 2021, Workhorse filed a Part 573 safety recall with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA. Now, with respect to its determination that additional testing and modifications to existing vehicles are required in order to certify the C1000s under the FMVSS, the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. A copy of the company's press release, dated September 22, with respect to this matter, is filed as Exhibit 99.1, and it's incorporated by reference in this current report on Form 8K. And they remain on track to provide long-term strategic roadmap on their Q3 earnings call coming up in November. Remember that. So definitely coming up here. We've got a couple months to kind of wait. Maybe we'll get more updates as we wait. But let's actually get into this here. The company has identified a number of enhancements in the production process and design of the C1000 to address customer feedback related to vehicle dynamics, increase vehicle's payload capacity. As Workhorse has identified these enhancements and continued its review and redesign of the C1000, the company has decided to suspend deliveries of the C1000 and recall 41 vehicles that it's already delivered. As part of these efforts, the new leadership has determined that additional testing and modification to existing vehicles are required to certify them under the FMVSS. So it seems like this CEO is definitely addressing concerns and he seems very serious about the company and not just letting kind of crap fly out of the shop. They want their product to be a good quality product, and I think in the long term that's a good thing for long-term shareholders. You know, if you're, of course, if you're short-term on this thing, yeah, you're looking at it a negative, and I'm sure you're negative on this. A lot of people are probably considering taking a L on this one, but not me. I've been in this one for over a year. I'm not really concerned. It was one of my more speculative plays, so your risk might not be the same as mine, but this was one of the riskier stocks that I was okay with purchasing and continuing to buy throughout the months and just averaging down as I go. And we will see in time if that was the right decision, but that is what I've been doing. And as traditions go, we're going to look into the chart here. We're under all the EMAs. We're just dumping. And personally, I would wait until it tries to retest this support level, which seems to be a relatively okay support. We did break it and keep dumping down. If you look, you know, around here is the recall, the failed, you know, them backing out of the Postal Service decision has just been causing this to kind of dump here. And the recall, nice dump there. Gap down with that 875. If we can break that 875, we might continue to the upside. That's just what I see there. There's no real indication of, you know, you can't be sure if this thing will keep kind of going down a little bit or keep going up. In my eyes, I think most of the burn is done. You know, the news has already been absorbed. It might have overreacted even a little bit based on how low the stock price is. And, you know, it's slowly kind of retracing. I would personally, if you don't have a position in this, you could, of course, nibble at it here. You never know if it'll keep going down or keep going up. If it stays around this level and just kind of trades sideways and doesn't go down much, I will probably consider buying a few because that'll show that, you know, this is kind of the base. But right now you can't be too sure. I do think that most of the pain is over here, and this news will be behind us. They'll get the repairs done that they need. So I'm honestly not too worried about it. You know, I still have all my shares, and it's kind of a heavy position in my portfolio. So I want to buy more, but it's like it's just at that point where it's like too high of a weighting. And like I said, it is kind of a risky one. You know, I mean, admittedly, this is a risky stock. Could go anyway. You know, it seems like it's just been manipulated downwards. And that's just my opinion on it. And that's basically all I got here for the chart. It's really not telling me a whole lot. There is a gap though, so keep that in mind. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see how Workhorse does in the coming weeks, coming months. Remember to keep an eye on the earnings call coming up here in November, beginning of November. Should be the 8th. We'll see, there might be an update there, and then they might change that because it's kind of still a ways out. But yeah, keep an eye on that. We'll see how Workhorse does. I think the pain is behind us though, and I think this will probably just kind of continue to trade sideways and slowly work its way back up, find that previous support, which is now our resistance. But once you get confirmation that it works its way past that 875, that's where I'll probably, you know, consider buying just to see that it's retracing and making that momentum upwards. Right now, it's, you know, it's kind of like, it could go either way right now, in my opinion. But I do think that most of the negative is behind it. We absorbed that bad news, and I think it's just going to kind of slowly come up. And once people realize the CEO seems pretty legit, seems pretty solid, it looks like he actually cares about the company and wants a good quality product, which in my eyes is a positive thing. But thanks again, guys. I hope you guys have a great week. You know, we'll see how tomorrow goes, and then we get into the weekend. I'll probably be putting like an update video on what I've bought throughout the week and what I've sold and kind of the moves I've made there. But thanks again, guys. As always, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.